is Yvonne and I'm the principal for Premium Montessori at Alto Academy. I've told 10 stories so far on Storytime, and today I would like to just take a short moment to share with you the ways you may benefit and utilize this Storytime with me. To do so, I will show you something that I'm very mindful of. It's called Bloom's Taxonomy. Now, I use this to guide the way that I teach children and speak to children, and parents can benefit a lot by understanding the system of order. Basically, this is an order, is an identified system of order, how children learn, or how all our learners are learning. So it helps, it's a very useful tool for teachers as well as parents. For teachers, for example, like myself, I become very conscious and mindful of how to teach my students. So I'll show it to you right at the bottom. These are the most basic skills when you learn, and as you develop more and more skills and mastery, you move up this pyramid, and it lists down the words that you want to do. Is you basically want to move your child up the pyramid. I'm going to share this later on in the Facebook, and you can have a look. But basically, I think most of us are stuck, most traditional education, we are stuck here at the bottom, which is remember. And what we want to do with our children at home, if you have a child, the way that you ask your children questions will change over time to move them up this pyramid. And I will show you various examples how you can do so. If you are a parent, it is applicable to both parents as well as teachers. So you become very mindful of the way that you speak to your child, how you're going to encourage and nurture the skills out for them to develop better understanding and mastery of whatever subject. So it's not bound by subject or skill. This is basically a learning path, starting from the bottom, going right up. So I'm going to slowly, I read this guide because I've internalized it. But for the sake of just sharing here, let's see. We go to the Storytime craft. For example, you will notice that a lot of the time I don't show any pictures. I don't use puppets. I also do not use any aids. Every now and then I will just flip and show you a picture, especially if I feel that the subject or the story is slightly more foreign, or not many children are able to grasp. But there is a reason for it, and the reason is because not only I want them to remember, I want the children or the parents to develop understanding, which is comprehension. This is where comprehension comes from, okay? So, take for example, I read a text now. Now that I've shared the secrets of fire with you, said Jaguar, after a week has passed, you must promise never to share it with humankind. Now this passage is taken from Fire of the Jaguar. Now, from what I have told in a sentence, you will understand the most basic question under remember is, who told Bordercade not to share the secrets with mankind? That question is remember. Jaguar told Bordercade not to share. So it's just Jaguar and Bordercade. How are we going to move it up? Say for example to analyze, then the question is slightly different. Still the same passage, but then the question will be something like, why do you think Jaguar asked Bordercade not to share the secret? It makes the reader or the student analyze the question. So it goes up. What I intend to do is to move the listeners and the students up, and to help these listeners or young children to develop comprehension. So the most basic form which I do on Friday is comprehend. Not only you read, but you actually understand what was actually told. What are the stories that is told? For example, I'll use this bowl again for example. If I say, this is a bowl. Can you imagine it in your mind? This is a bowl. This is a blue bowl. Where do you think that it is? It's actually somewhere in analyze and evaluate, because you actually have to think of the sentence that I just said and you have to form it, image into your brain. It encourages creativity, imagination. The listener must truly understand what I said in order to form the mental picture inside. And for story time, basically it's when I'm telling a story and I don't offer any pictures, what the listener has to do is actually pay attention intently and form all the images in the brain, in the mind, right? So they have to analyze and move up to evaluate. What did I just say? What did Avon say? Avon say it is a blue bowl. Then you created the mental picture in your mind, a blue bowl. So I basically move the listener up. Whenever I tell a story and I don't offer a photo or a picture, it goes up. I'm encouraging you to develop all those imagination to create the world in your mind. If I told you a story and it goes something like this, this is a blue bowl and I gave you a picture of the blue bowl, you will not move up the Bloom's taxonomy. So in order for children, in very short words, in order for students or children to understand, if you are interested in developing your children's comprehension and understanding, you have to move your child up, not only by reading the sentence, but to digest what was read, to understand it, and then to slowly apply all the information that they have gathered, and in the case of a story, to go right up and create the world in your mind. So that's why you use Bloom's taxonomy. It will help you to understand what are the things that we want to set for our children and to help them to move up and develop greater mastery of the, in this case, English language. So as I tell the story, let's try another passage. This time I'm going to use the story of Finn McCool, which was also a very interesting one. Bleary-eyed and woozy-headed, Benadonna followed Una into the next room where an enormous baby with a bonnet on his head smiled. Benadonna gasped, "Is that a baby?" It was half the size of Benadonna himself. So, what did we understand from that? Now, I'm going to create a sentence that makes you analyze. Why do you think Benadonna gasped when he saw the baby? He's no longer remember. Remember is who was in the bassinet. Then that might be a question about remembering the details that was told. But if I want a listener to analyze, then it will be, why do you think Benadonna gasped when he saw the baby? Because then you will have to think about it and then develop ideas. Maybe because the baby was half the size of Benadonna himself. So, I hope that parents will understand, excited about this, and that you will utilize this in your daily conversations with your children as well. If you want to develop more comprehension skills, as I tell the story, you can ask the questions, engage your child and ask the questions, or I can engage your child and ask those questions as well, which I do usually in the second part when I tell the story with my own words. Then I will also prod and ask questions. And it is important to join in and participate alongside your child and help your child to develop all these thinking skills. Because what we want is, as I said, we want to move our children up the pyramid. Not just remember, but move them up. It can be used and developed in many other areas such as mathematics, sciences, any of the subjects that children are now currently learning in school. For example, I'll use mathematics as a primary example. Right at the bottom is remember. And the most common form we do with children is 2 plus 2, 3 plus 5, 6 times 5. And in other words, we make children remember lots of formulas, lots of answers. That's under remember. But if we want children to understand more about mathematics and multiplication, we use, for example, apply. Alright? A question that requires application will go something like this. If I have 6 apples and I have 3 friends, I have to divide the apples among 3 friends equally. How many apples do each of us get? That is, it falls under apply and analyze. There's a whole bunch of data, you have to read about it, and then you have to finalize and you have to analyze whether it is which mathematical operation. Is it a plus, minus, times, multiply, or divide? And then you have to analyze it, and then you do it. So that falls under that question is more challenging. But if a child is able, if the student is able to understand that, it means that the child has developed greater understanding or greater mastery of multiplication compared to one that can just do 2 times 2, 3 times 3, and so on and so forth. So, how about a question that requires creating multiplication? For example, you give a group of numbers 2, 6, 3, and then you tell the child, can you make all the mathematical formula out of these 3 numbers? That's creative. You have to analyze. You have to understand, of course. Then you analyze. You evaluate all the numbers, the relationship of the numbers, 2, 3, 6, and then you create 2 times 3 equals 6. Or 6 divided by 3 equals 2. Is it a greater skill? Yes, it is a greater skill. It's a greater skill than remember or even understanding. Remember is, as I said, 1 times 2, 2 times 2, 3 times 2. Application, analysis, creating is a higher order on the Bloom taxonomy, and when students, your child or student is able to do that, it indicates that your child or student has mastered the particular skill or topic. And ultimately, that's where we want to drive our students and children to. We want to encourage them, and we want them to develop greater understanding and greater skill. Now, if you have heard of the government's initiative of HOPS, which is a higher order thinking, and basically they are talking about this as well. I've heard in the past where parents were commenting that or remarking that it is so difficult. How are children able to understand this? How do you expect children to be able? You are expecting students to be here, but we want to develop our students to up here. So yes, it is a bit of a challenge, but it is a challenge that all children are capable of achieving at the correct milestone, at the correct developmental stage. If they are at that particular stage where all these things take place, trust me, your child will be able to do that. Okay? So this is an encouragement. I want to encourage parents to understand the Bloom's taxonomy, to appreciate it, and also to let's work cooperatively to help our students and help our children develop greater mastery and great. Now that I've shared a little about Bloom's taxonomy, I hope that you will be encouraged and excited to read a little bit more about this and to discover how you can utilize it in your home with your children as well. If you notice, for my story time, I employ 2 prompts. That means I have 2 activities, and a lot of my lessons are that way as well. I usually will develop a particular topic or skill, multifold, multidisciplinary. So in this case, I've chosen a comprehension exercise on Fridays, followed by a tutorial or a crafting exercise to re-emphasize the same concept or ideas and to explore and expand their skills. So it goes, as I said, it goes up in the Bloom taxonomy, and that's what I want to do. If you are in any of these classes, please contact me. Alright, so that's all I have for please have a good day. Read about this, feel excited about it. Let's take care of our students, children. Let's help them develop and grow strong through this year 2020. Stay close and remember that we are all creators of happiness. If you like this video, please click like to subscribe.